Surely a blessing and an honor to be here at this time, this place, keeping the Shabbat convocation with the true Jews, with the Hebrews, with the Father's chosen people. All right, so today we're going to go to the portion that we're going into. Today is the first portion of our biblical portion here, and we're going to be starting with Genesis 1 and 1. So those of you that are in attendance today, if you're in attendance throughout for the whole year, you have went over the whole Torah, line upon line, precept upon precept. Okay? So this is the beginning here of the portions. Genesis 1 and 1. So a lot of information is going to come out. We're going to move. We're going to try not to go too in depth because, just Genesis, the first chapter, could take 3 hours. But of course, we got to go from 1 and 1 to 6 and 8. All right, so you got to bear with us. We're not going to explain every little thing and break everything down. Right? But we're going to give an overview and an oversight. Later on, if you want to go into deeper breakdowns or something that we have touched upon, we can do that. But there's no way we're going to make it to 6 and 8 from 1 and 1 if we go through everything that's in there. There's a lot of information. Everybody understand that? So we're going to roll with it. We're going to roll through these verses. I'm going to explain things. We're going to give an explanation, 1 or 2 precepts, but we're going to keep it moving. Okay? All right. So give me Colossians 3, verse 17.
The book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of Mashiach Yahushua, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by Him.
All right, giving all praise to the Most High in the name of Mashiach Yahushua. So we go right into it. Let's get Genesis 1, verse 1.
The book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, the Most High created the heaven and the earth.
Right, so when it says in the beginning, it's the beginning of what?
Creation.
Creation of what?
Universe.
The universe?
Everything.
Planet.
Beginning of our time.
Our time? Kind of story. In the beginning of what? Of the what? The world? The worlds, right? The worlds. In the beginning of the worlds. How do we know this is the beginning of the worlds, right? Let's get Hebrews 1 and 1. This is not the beginning of the Most High. He already existed. And we're going to prove all those things. Let's get that. Hebrews 1 and 1.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 1, verse 1. The Most High, who at sundry times and in diverse manners spake in time past unto the fathers by the prophets,
Right?
hath in these last days spoken unto us by his Son,
Right?
whom he hath appointed heir of all things.
So who's the Son of the Most High? Yahushua. Read on.
By whom also he made the world.
He did what to the world?
He made the world.
He made the world. All right. So with Yahushua, Yahweh made the world. So you understand that? All right. Let's go back to Genesis. So in the beginning of these worlds, right?
The book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, the Most High created the heaven and the earth.
Right?
And the earth was without form and void.
So now in your Bibles it says, who created the heaven and earth? What does it say in your Bible? It says God. Is that the word that's properly placed there? Let's pull up the blue letter real quick. Let's see what's that word right there for God. We'll pull up the blue letter. In Genesis 1 and 1. Right. So you got God. What does it say there? Elohim, or it's written in Elohim, H430. Click on H430. What's the definition of this word? What's the definition? First of all, what does it say at the beginning? One. It's what? What kind of word? Plural. What does it mean if a word is plural? More than one. Is there more than one God? No. There's only one God. So that actually tells you that this translation, when it says God, singular, created the heaven and the earth, is not a right translation. Right? It's a plural word. The word there in the Hebrew is Elohim, right? Which means powers. Or go up a little bit more. Right. Or the Elohim, that's spoken in more modern Hebrew dialect, but in the ancient is Elohim. Allah, Yah, and Amah. Allah, Aha, and Yah, and Amah. Elohim. Okay? Elohim, or Elohim. Right? Now come down. It means rulers, judges, divine ones, angels, gods. You see that? Everything is plural. Rulers, judges, divine ones, angels, God. So now, we know of at least two so far that was there. Because we just read in Hebrews, who was there?
The Most High, Yahweh.
Yahweh. Okay? Christ was there when the earth was being created. Okay? Let's move that further. Now give me Proverbs 8 and 22.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 8, verse 22. The Most High possessed me in the beginning of his way.
In the what?
In the beginning of his way.
So the first thing we read in Genesis 1 and 1 was what? In the beginning. Right, Con? So we say the Most High possessed me in the beginning of his way. When he was creating, when he began the creation, Yahweh Shah was there. Everybody understand this? Read.
Before his works of old.
Before his what?
His works of old.
Before the oldest work you can talk of it about, he was there. My side is saying I was there before the oldest work. Read on.
I was set up from everlasting.
Right.
From the beginning, or ever the earth was.
All right. So he said, I was there from the beginning before the earth was. How do we know this is talking about Yahweh Shai in Proverbs? Right? Let's get Revelations. Right? Get Revelations 1 verse 12. Right? 1 verse 10. Like I said, a lot of information. Let's write it down. We'll move quickly.
11.
1 and 11.
The book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 11.
First read 1 verse 1.
The book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 1.
Right?
The revelation of the Mashiach Yahushua.
The revelation, the revealing of Christ. Right? The revealing of Hamashiach Yahushua. Jump down to the 10th verse.
Verse 10. I was in the spirit of the Most High's day,
right?
and heard behind me a great voice as if a trumpet.
So this is John the Revelator, who's in the spirit of the Lord's day, Shabbat. And he heard a voice. And what did the voice say to him? Read.
Saying, I am Alpha and Omega.
What does that mean, Alpha and Omega? The beginning and the end. Why is the Messiah saying he's the beginning and the end? Because what?
Because he is.
Why is he? Why is he the beginning and the end?
Alpha is, I know Alpha is the first letter of the alphabet and Omega is the last letter.
Well, why is he the Alpha? Why is he the beginning? Why
Alpha is the head, the leader.
Because he was there from the beginning. We just read he was there before the creation. He was there with the Father to create. Okay? So that's why he's saying, I'm the Alpha and Omega. That means I'm going to be there in the beginning, and guess what? I'm going to be there in the end. I am the Alpha and Omega. I'm going to be there. Right? Read on.
Saying, I am Alpha and Omega, the first and the last.
The what?
The first and the last.
Meaning that I was the first creation, and I'm going to be the last to stand. Okay? He let you know I'm from the beginning, and I'm going to be at the end. Read on.
And what thou seest, write in a book.
And what thou seest, write it in a book. So he's going to give things to write down so that we can have it today. Okay? So what we understand here through these verses is that Yahweh Shai was there from the beginning. Christ was there from the beginning. He didn't just materialize in Matthews. All right? He was always there. Give me St. John 1 and 1. St. John 1 and 1.
The book of St. John, chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning was the Word.
You know what?
In the beginning was the Word.
In the beginning was the Word. Okay. So we're going back now, and all these scriptures are explaining to you what's going on in Genesis, the first verse, first chapter, first verse. All right. So we have a full understanding. Because if you just read it just the way it's written, you would say, okay, Yahweh was there, and you got to create everything. Right? But now you're learning, wait a minute, not just Yahweh was there. Yahweh Shai was there too. Right? Read on.
And the Word was with the Most High.
And the Word was what?
With the Most High.
In the beginning was the Word. Now who's the Word? How do we prove that? How do we prove that? Because these are scriptures that, you know, our Christian brothers and sisters, they be tripping on these things. Right? And they start believing things that are not true. But we have to explain what's going on. What in the beginning was the Word. Right?
Revelation 19:13.
That's right, Revelation 19:13. Right. Read it.
The book of Revelation, chapter 19, verse 13. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood. And his name is called the Word of the Most High.
His name was called what?
The Word of the Most High.
So when you read this, it's talking about Messiah, Christ. His name was called the Word of the Most High. Okay. So let's go back to St. John.
The book of St. John, chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with the Most High.
And the Word was with Yahweh. Who was with Yahweh? Yahweh Shai. Read on.
And the Word was the Most High.
And no, read it as it's written.
And the Word was God.
And the Word was a God. Was God. Meaning that what? It fit what? It was a ruler, a judge, a divine one, an angel. Right? It wasn't the Most High. Because how can the Word be with Yahweh and be Yahweh? That don't make no sense. Everybody understand that? And Most High is not the author of confusion. If the word is with the Most High, then since the word was God, mean that what? He had what? He was a ruler, a judge, a divine one, an angel. Everybody understand this? Read on.
The same was in the beginning with the Most High.
The same was in the beginning with Yahweh. So they explained that it wasn't one, it wasn't singular, it was plural in the beginning. This is what John is trying to explain or orientate to us. Right? Read on.
All things were made by him.
We read in Hebrews, who made the worlds? Who made the worlds? We just read in the Hebrews. Right? All things were made by him. So the Most High used Yahushua to make all things. Everybody understands? Read on.
And without him,
And without him,
and without
and
him,
without Yahushua, read on.
was not anything made.
Nothing was made without him. Nothing was made without him. But he's not the creator, he worked for the creator. Yahweh is the creator. Yahushua worked and created. Read on.
And all things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made.
Right?
In him was life,
In him was life, come on.
and the life was the light of men.
And the life was the light of men. Okay? In him was life, and the life was the light of men. What is the light of men? That's right. The law, statute, commandments of the Most High God. Right? But in him was, that's why he was called the Word. He was called the Word. Read on. Is that it? All right. Go back to Proverbs. Read it again. 8:22.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 8, verse 22.
Come on.
The Most High possessed me in the beginning of his way,
Right?
before his works of old.
Come on.
I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, wherever the earth was.
Come on.
When there was no depths, I was brought forth.
Uh-huh.
When there was no fountains abounding with water, before the mountains were settled, before the hills was I brought forth. While as yet he had not made the earth, nor the fields, nor the highest part of the dust of the world.
Right?
When he prepared the heavens, I was there.
Come on.
When he set a compass upon the face of the depth,
Come on.
when he established the clouds above, when he strengthened the fountains of the deep, when he gave to the sea his decree, that the water should not pass his commandment,
Come on.
when he appointed the foundations of the earth,
Read.
then I was by him,
Come on.
as one brought up with him,
Come on.
and I was daily his delight.
And I was daily his delight. I was by him. I was with him when we were doing all these things. I was with him. I was there. Okay. So now we have a clear understanding of what's taking place in Genesis, the first chapter. Now let's go back to Genesis. So read the first verse again. Let's read it with wisdom.
The book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, the Most High created the heaven and the earth.
You can say the Most High. I already know it ain't the Most High. The word is not the Most High. There's only one Most High. Right? You can say the powers. You can say higher. You can say, but we know that that's not a singular word. You just got educated. You got all that knowledge. Right? So you can't say the Most High. You got to say the powers. Right? Read it.
In the beginning, the Elohim created the heaven and the earth.
Come on.
And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep.
Come on.
And the Spirit of the Most High moved upon the face of the waters.
Come on.
And the Most High said, "Let there be light," and there was light.
Uh-huh.
And the Most High saw the light, that it was good, And the Most High divided the light from the darkness, and called the light day, and darkness he called night.
Look at verse 4. So now, who said um, who saw the light? It says, and God, right? Elohim, right? He saw the light. The light was good. The Elohim divided the light. So when we read in Genesis, the first chapter, we have to understand it's never singular for the whole chapter. It's never singular. It's always plural. The whole first chapter is plural. All right? And we're going to understand that as we get down further to the chapter, it'll make more sense. That you understand the whole chapter is plural. Right? It's Yahweh, Yahweh, right? That's there at this point in time. All right? As well as the angels, we're going to see why. All right? Let's read.
Verse 5. And the Most High called the light day, and darkness he called night.
Okay.
And the evening.
Hold on. And the powers called the day.
And the powers called the light day.
Right?
And the darkness he called night.
Or the Elohim, or the Hayim, either. Right? Read.
And the evening and the morning were the first day.
So the evening and the morning was the first day. What is evening? What time period is that called? What is evening? Sunset. So when the sun is down, and then when the sun rose, right, between the sun, well, nighttime, daytime is one day, right? Nighttime, daytime is second day. Okay. All right. Let's read on.
Verse 6. And Elohim said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters,
Uh-huh.
and let it divide the waters from the waters.
You got a picture of a firmament for me? See if we can get a firmament up here. A firmament is a barrier, right? In the middle right here, right?
Yeah. Oh, right here.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Black and white.
Yeah, that one is not bad. So let there be a firmament in the midst of the water. So a firmament is made. And let it divide the waters from the water. That means this firmament is a dividing substance that doesn't allow things to get through and pass. All right, read on. That's why I call it a firmament. All right, read.
Verse 7. And Elohim made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament
Right.
from the waters which were above the firmament.
Come on.
And it was so.
Uh-huh.
And Elohim called the firmament heaven.
Right.
And the evening and the morning were the second day.
So heaven is above the firmament. All right. Above the firmament is heaven. Okay. So we understand heaven is not that far away. It's right above the firmament. Okay. Esau will tell you it's million trillion miles away. Esau is a liar. Light years away. Like the Star Trek. Right? He's a liar. And the truth is not in him. Okay? Really not that far away. All right, read on.
And Elohim called the firmament heaven.
Right?
And the evening and morning were the second day.
So Elohim called the firmament heaven. All right? How many heavens are there? Let's get that. Let's get that understanding. 15:30. Heaven, third heaven. There's one part in the third heaven. Question, go ahead. Okay. Well, this is depicted as waters, but we're going to understand further what that waters means. Okay. Water is elements, right? Or things are made of. Huh? One. Third heaven. Yeah, there's one part from the third heaven. Yeah. Okay. So where is that? 2 Corinthians 12 and 2. 2 Corinthians 12 and 2.
The book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 2. I knew a man in a Mashiach above 14 years ago. Whether in the body, I cannot tell. Whether out of the body, I cannot tell. The most I know. Such and one caught up to the third heaven.
To what heaven?
To the third heaven.
To the third heaven. The third heaven is the highest heaven. You see where it says Yahweh's realm? Right? You see the top there? It says realm of God, or case may be. That's the third heaven. So now, if that's the third heaven, can you see what the first and second heaven is? Look at it. If that's the third, if the top is the third heaven, then where's the second heaven? The what? No. What's the moon and stars in? The what?
Firmament.
The firmament. That's the second heaven. What's the first heaven? The what? Not the earth.
The waters are off.
The sky.
I'm confused.
The sky. It's not confusing. You got the sky, the firmament, and then you got above the firmament. You got the third heaven, second heaven, first heaven. Okay? Those three are called heaven. All right? Let's pull the first heaven. All right?
It goes on to verse 4. Second Corinthians.
Yeah, keep reading this. Please. So.
Verse 3. And I knew such a man, whether in the body or out of the body, I cannot tell. The most I know it. How that he was caught up into paradise,
Right.
And heard unspeakable words,
Right.
which is not lawful for a man to utter.
Right. So he was caught up into the third heaven. He was caught all the way up into the spiritual heaven, the realm of the Father, and heard words that man cannot utter. Meaning that hearing things that we wouldn't even know. All right. Why? Because he's in the heavens with the Most High and the angels. He's no longer on the earthly heavens. He's past the earthly heavens and has gone to the celestial heaven. Remember, there's different bodies for different realms. Celestial is above the earth, above the firmament, into the heavens where the Most High dwells. Okay. You got it?
Different bodies, right?
Yeah, give me the bodies so they understand what we're talking about.
1 Corinthians 15:39. The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 15, verse 39. All flesh is not the same flesh,
Right?
but there is one kind of flesh of men, another flesh of beasts, another of fishes, another of birds. There are also celestial bodies.
What kind of bodies?
Celestial bodies.
Celestial bodies. Celestial bodies. Read on.
And terrestrial.
So now terrestrial bodies is bodies of the terrain of the earth, like our bodies. Our bodies are terrestrial, right? Our bodies are made up of the same thing the earth is made of, right? We're made out of water. We're made out of copper, zinc. All that stuff is in our bodies. That's in the earth. We have terrestrial bodies, but there's celestial bodies that are made of things that are from the third heaven. That they're not made out of what we're made out of. They're not held to the same restraints as our bodies, our vessels are. All right, they're not earthly vessels. All right. Esau knows this, so he comes up with all this space alien stuff. He tries to explain it away because he's seen celestial bodies. All right, he's seen celestial bodies. Right, but we know that he knows that he cannot achieve that, so he has to come up with some sort of explanation. Right? So he comes up with aliens and stuff like that. Makes movies about alienation and stuff like that, which is all imagination of man. There are no aliens out there. Okay? There's terrestrial bodies and there's celestial bodies. Everybody understand that? Those are the two bodies. All right, so understand the heavens now. Go back to the heavens. So such a one caught up to the third heaven, you gotta have a celestial body to enter the third heaven. So you got the second heaven and the first heaven. So now let's explain the first heaven. Give me Matthew 26:64. Oh, that's the celestial heaven. So, I can read it.
Matthew 26:24.
Yeah.
The book of Matthew, chapter 26, verse 24. The Son of Man goeth as it is written of him. But woe unto that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed.
Right.
It had been good for that man if he had not been born.
26:64. 24. That's 64.
You said 24.
I'm sorry, 26:64.
The book of Matthew, chapter 26, verse 64. Yahushua said unto him, Thou hast said, Nevertheless, I say unto you, hereafter shall ye see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of the Most High, and coming in the clouds of heaven.
Coming in the clouds of heaven. He's coming in the clouds of heaven. So when we look up, that is considered also heaven. All right? When you look up in the sky, that's heaven. When you go beyond that, what you can see with your eye, you're still looking at another heaven, what they call the firmament, what Esau calls space. Above that is the third heaven. Okay? Space is not as big as Esau tries to make it out to be. Okay? It's really not that robust at all. It's wide but not thick. Above that is the heavens. Is the third heaven. These are the three heavens. When you look up, you see the clouds, that's heaven. When a plane flies, it's flying in the heavens. A bird flies in the heavens. Above them is also the heavens, and above that is the third heaven. Now we understand that there's three heavens, right? Physical realms, heaven. Now also, heaven also has another way it's used to mean rulership, right? It's used as because you're on high, you're above the people. So it says it's a condition. So they call that heaven, being in rulership. Okay. All right. So you have to understand that word heaven is used metaphorically and actually. Okay. It's not always a realm. It's sometimes metaphorically used. How do we know that? If we go back to say in Matthew 24:35, let's see how they use the word heaven in this verse. Okay, so verse 34. 24, 34, 35.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 34. Verily, I say unto you,
Right?
this generation shall not pass till all things be fulfilled.
This generation shall not pass till all things be fulfilled. What do you mean generation not pass? Meaning that it's not going to be changed. It's not going to be destroyed till all things will be fulfilled. You know?
Heaven and earth shall pass away.
Heaven and earth won't pass away. So what is that talking about? Is that talking about the third heaven, the sky, the firmament? Is that going to pass away? No. What heaven is going to pass away?
The ones with the birds and the plants.
No. Why? How are we going to breathe? Huh?
The rulership of
I'm sorry, sir? No. It's using the word heaven as a metaphor in this verse. Right? Right? The rulership that was on the earth at that time. Who was ruling the earth at the time of Christ?
Romans.
The Romans. Right? Who are the Romans today?
Esau.
Well, it is Esau, but today it's the so-called Caucasian white man. He's the Romans, right? His history is Rome. Okay? So he's telling us that these rulers, right, and those on the bottom, this whole system here is going to pass away. Right? Read the verse again. Read it from 34 again.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 34. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all things be fulfilled.
Right. So, meaning the way things are set up now, it's not going to pass. It's not going to change. It's not going to be destroyed till all things be fulfilled. Right? In order for things to change, it got to be destroyed. It has to be wiped away, and a new has to be brought in. Okay? The way the generation was set up at that time, who was ruling the earth at that time? Romans. So who's ruling the earth to this day? The Romans. Right? They still rule the earth. Right? They don't call themselves Romans, they call themselves Germans and Americans and Europeans and Caucasians. They have different names, but it's the same people. The same setup. He let them know it's going to be the same setup to all things be fulfilled. Meaning that, remember one day we're going to wake up and the Chinese, Moab is going to rule. Moab is not going to rule.
That's right.
Ishmael is not going to rule. It's going to be the way it is when Christ was here until all things be fulfilled. Everybody understand that? This is what the prophecy is talking about when it says Esau is the end of the kingdom and Jacob is the beginning of the kingdom that follows. Meaning that white man will rule this earth until you rule this earth. Nobody else is going to get a chance. All right? There's nobody else coming up in the race. All right? You know that? Get a hand up?
Oh, I had a pizza for the heaven for the sky. I don't know
What is that?
It's Luke 16:17.
What is it? Why staying Jason to the heavens? 16, 17?
Yeah. 16:17.
All right. Well, let's finish where we at. We didn't finish this story.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 34. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all things be fulfilled.
Right?
Heaven and earth shall pass away.
See that? So he referred to this generation as heaven and earth. Heaven and earth shall pass away. Meaning that this generation will not pass. Heaven and earth shall pass away. Meaning that when all things are fulfilled, he's going to destroy the setup that's here. You know?
But my words shall not pass away.
But the word of the Most High shall not pass. Meaning that the prophecies will still come to pass. When he told us what's going to happen, it will happen. All right? Now give me that Luke 16, 17.
The book of Luke, chapter 16, verse 17. And it is easier for heaven and earth to pass than one tittle of the law to fail.
Not necessarily. That's metaphorical. That has nothing to do with sky. All right? That's metaphorical use of the word. Yeah? For what? Heaven being what? Rulership? Okay. This understand, even the Most High used us as heaven. He used heaven to describe us. When he said heaven was taken by violence, he's talking about Israelites, but you represent the kingdom of heaven. So you gotta use the word heaven in its context, because it's often used as a metaphor, not as the actual place. It's used to describe, right, the Most High's, his people, or the position of rulership. Okay? So you have to use the word heaven in its context. Just so you understand. Let's go back to Genesis. Go back to Genesis. We can stay on the point of heaven. Heaven is a whole class in itself. So, like I said, there's a lot of information here. You got to touch on things and move. If you get stuck explaining something for hours, right? There's a lot of scripture.
The book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 9. And Elohim said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place. And let the dry land appear, and it was so.
Right? So, right. In this sky, in the atmosphere, the heavens were gathered together in one place. And then we have what show? What show? Dry land, earth, soil. Okay? That's within that first heaven. This soil we're standing on, this ground, is within the first heaven. It's within the atmosphere, in other words. All right? We breathe oxygen, right? That's in the heaven, right? The first heaven. Read.
And Elohim called the dry land earth,
right?
And the gathering together of the waters called he seas.
Right, so then we have what? Seas formed, right? Seas were formed. So we have some waters that were called seas, you know?
And Elohim saw that it was good. And Elohim said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth, and it was so.
Right, so we understand that our fruits, our seed, our vegetables need to yield their own seed. If they don't yield their own seed, then they're not of the Most High. But be mindful that there's some fruits that you might see like there's no seed because the fruit itself is the seed. Right? So, you have to be mindful that there's genetically engineered food that's supposed to have seeds inside, and the seeds are not there. That is GMO foods. That's foods that have been tampered with, right? Foods that we should avoid. All right? Read.
Verse 12. And the earth brought forth grass, and an herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself, after his kind, and Elohim saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day.
So now the first 2 days, what was created? Let's sum it up. What was created the first day? In most layman terms.
The waters and the earth.
Was the waters created?
No, the seas.
Light
On
and
the
dark.
first day?
Light and dark.
Light and dark. Okay, what else?
Then the waters, the light.
In layman terms, I need you to use words that you use today. You don't go around talking about the waters. Right? You need to know what it is. Right? Is the oceans on the first day?
No,
I'm asking the first day. First day. What was created on the first day?
Day and night.
Light and darkness, right? Day and night. We said that 3 different ways, right? What else was created on the first day? First day. Most important thing that was created on the first day.
Days.
No. How was that? What made that? No, they weren't created. What do you mean?
Morning and evening.
Where are you going with that? The most important thing, the firmament. The firmament is the most important thing created on the first day. Everything else derives from that. Because that gives us the space to put the earth in and to put the atmosphere. Everything starts with the firmament. There's nothing without the firmament. Everybody understand that? The firmament is created, divide the heavens, all right? The heaven, the spiritual heaven from the heavens beneath it. All right? So we have the firmament, then we have the sky. Now let's get the second day. What happened on the second day? Now we're going to go back to what you were saying. What happened on the second day?
My scripture says the firmament was created in the second.
Dry land.
The what?
In the second, it says, my scripture says that the firmament was created the second day.
What are you talking about?
It says the second day was created.
We
Firmament.
just read the first day.
No, the second day.
I understand what you're saying.
It says in the second day the firmament was created.
Huh?
That was the second day.
What was created the first day? Light and
Light,
dark. And he divided the light and the dark. And he called the light day and what night. You're right. I'm wrong. Corrected. I've been corrected. The firmament is on the second day. Light and dark is only created on the first day. All right, I stand corrected. I don't know how I mixed that up. All right, so the firmament is a thing on the second day. Correct. All right. That's why we all have a scripture out here. All right, so we don't. So what else was created the second day? The firmament, the what?
The waters
The
got
earth.
in one place.
The earth,
The earth.
right? The soil. What else?
The herbs and the
Herbs, yielding seed, right? What else? Huh? One more thing.
the ocean.
The oceans, the seas, right? The seas. Right? We spoke about the herbs, the fruits, the seeds. So the second day, we got the firmament, the earth, the seeds. We have grass, herbs. We got fruits on the second day. The first day, we got sun, light, and darkness. Right? Was created light and dark. Or light and darkness was divided. Okay? All right, read.
The book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 14. And Elohim said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night.
Right, so up in the firmament, the Most High said, let's create lights. Let's put it in the firmament. Okay. In the firmament. Not above the firmament. In the firmament. Great lights. And those lights, one is going to represent the day and the night. Now the day and night was already created, huh? So these lights that they're putting in the day and they're putting one in the night, that's put after the day and night was already created. So they don't cause day and night. You understand that? Good.
And Elohim said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night.
Right.
And let there be for signs and for seasons and for days and years.
Right. So now these lights that he's about to create, they have a purpose. They have serve a purpose for man. Now man hasn't been created yet, but these lights were created to serve man already. So it was the intention that these lights would give what? Would determine what for man? Time. Time. All those things represent time. Seasons, months, years, everything represents time. Time is an overall word that encompasses all of that. Years, months, minutes, hours, time. Right? Read.
And let them be for lights in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so.
Uh-huh.
And Elohim made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also.
Mm-hmm.
And Elohim set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night.
Right, so now these lights, they enhance the light of the day. They enhance even the light of the night. Because when the moon is out, those of us that have been places where there's no street lights, if there's no moon, it's really dark. You can't even see your hand plus your face if there's no street lights. And the moon is not out. But when the moon is out, you can literally walk around. And it's dark, but you can see. Right? Those of us that have been places that don't have street lights, things of that sort, we've experienced that. You look for the day when the moon is full, man, you can go outside and walk around and see everybody, see people, everything. Because it gave light upon the earth. Okay, read on.
And to divide the light from the darkness.
Uh-huh.
And Elohim saw that it was good. And the evening and morning were the fourth day.
Right, so what happened in the third day? What was created?
Suns and the moons and the stars.
Right, sun, moon, and stars. Right, come. Read on.
And Elohim said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that has life,
Uh-huh.
and fowl that may fly above the earth,
And what?
and the fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven.
Right, so it said, let the waters bring forth flying birds, animals, right, move upon the earth. Okay, read on.
And Elohim created great whales, and every living creature that moveth.
The oceans, right, the animals, the fish that's in the ocean was created. So the creatures upon the earth, the creatures in the sky, and the creatures in the waters were created. Everybody see that? Read on.
Which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind.
Come on.
And every winged fowl after his kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. And Elohim blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the sea, and let fowl multiply in the earth.
Come on.
And the evening and morning were the fifth day.
Right, so the fourth day, creatures were created on the earth. All manner of beasts, all manner of animals, everything was created.
On the fourth day.
Even in the morning of the fifth day. Right? Did we explain the fourth day already? What was created on the fourth day? That's what I just said. That's the fourth day. We didn't get to the fifth day yet. We're about to go to the fifth day. It says that the evening and the morning is the fifth day, meaning that we're beginning the fifth day. All right, let's read that again.
And the evening and morning were the fifth day. And Elohim said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and the beasts of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And Elohim made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. And Elohim said, let us make man in our image.
What?
Let us make man in our image.
All right, so what? Man is being created. Man, cattle, everything that moves upon the earth is being created. Okay, read on.
After our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea,
right,
and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So Elohim created man in his own image. And the image of the Elohim created he him. Male and female created he them.
Right, so what? When the Most High created man, he created them male and female abundantly. Right, so the idea that it was just one and one and one is incorrect. Because we're reading here that he made male and female. Right?
Yeah, notice he keeps saying our.
Right.
Our image. So our is not talking about one person. That's another thing that's proven also that it's not just the Most High.
But that is the Most
Our
High.
image. You know what I'm saying? Huh? Our image. C-O-U-R.
Yeah, read it again.
Read it again.
The book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 26. And Elohim said, let us make man in our image.
Right, the Elohim, but we already called it Elohim, so we understand that it's more than one. Plural. Our image, us, in our image. Remember, we already went over that. It's Elohim. It's not Yahweh. It's Yahweh, Yahushua, and the angels. It's the powers. So it says us. Let us make man in our image, like us, Abba. That's Yahweh Shai saying, let's make man like us, Abba. He said that to the Most High. Like how we are, in our image. When we learn the image of the Most High, in Yahweh Shai, you want to see the image of the Most High, Yahweh Shai, look at your brother. That is the image of Yahweh or Yahweh Shai. Everybody say that? Because we are created in his image. Read.
After our likeness.
After our likeness. Mean that, but look just like us. We don't.
And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea.
And let them have power. Dominion is power. We don't.
And over the fowl of the air.
Uh-huh.
And over the cattle. And over all the earth. And over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth.
No.
So Elohim created man in his own image.
Right.
In the image of Elohim created he him.
Right.
Male and female created he them.
Right. Created them abundantly. Right. So you have to have that right image in your mind that along with cattle, there wasn't one male and one female cow. It wasn't one bird and one of each animal. He created them abundantly in different shapes, sizes, colors, arrangements. Most High, he has filled the earth. Read on.
Verse 28. And Elohim blessed them. And Elohim said unto them, be fruitful and multiply.
Not only did he create them, he told them to recreate yourselves. Right? To expand. Right? So he said, be fruitful and multiply. What does that mean? To do what? To what?
Breathe.
To breathe, as he said, right? I like that. He said to breathe. He said to breathe. Right? You know, abundantly give them. Bring forth a lot of children, a lot of cattle, a lot of multiply yourselves. Okay? Read.
And replenish the earth.
And do what?
And replenish the earth.
And fill the earth. Right? Read on.
And subdue it.
And do what?
And subdue it.
How do you subdue something? Take control or authority. Right? So if you want to subdue something, what do you got to do? What do you got to do? How do you subdue something? Look up the word subdue. So you have a full understanding of what the Most High told man. He said to subdue it. Who got subdued from it?
To conquer, bring into subjection.
Right. That's what subdue means. Okay? And I don't know what y'all thinking is what's going to happen. All right? So now, if you are subdued, you are conquered. How do you conquer something? You ask for it? You just say, can I have power over you, man? You know? How do you conquer? Huh? Possess it? Can I possess you? What would it take for me to possess you? Huh? That's it. You're right on that one. It took violence. Right? I don't know what y'all thinking. Y'all gotta get with the Most High God and see what he's saying in these scriptures. He told man to get your weapons, right? And subdue this earth. Right? Don't let these beasts run over you. Put them in check. Okay? He didn't just give dominion to you. You can sit back like, what was that? Back in the day, you had a Beastmaster. You spoke to the birds, and everybody agreed with him. Sometimes we got to take that out of our imagination. Our imagination start running wild because we see too much Hollywood. Right? They had to stand up to these beasts and say, nah. The Most High told us to subdue this earth. If something is a threat to you, you're going to take it down. You're going to put them in subjection. Okay? You're going to, you can't ride a horse unless a horse is broken. Everybody understand that?
That's right.
Horse ain't just come out the womb ready to be ridden, right? Anybody need a lift? That's not how a horse come out. A horse will throw you off and kick you in your face. if you don't break that horse, right? But once that horse is broken, it will be your companion. It will ride. It will take you where you need to go for the rest of your days. All right. Once it's been put in order, things have to be put in order. They don't just come that way. All right. Read.
And have dominion over the fish of the sea,
Right.
and over the fowl of the air,
Right.
and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth.
So man was to have control over the fish, the fowls, everything. Determine how to use them. What's their best use? How they will serve men. These things were created to serve you. Everybody understand that? All these things were created to serve you. You are the highest creation on the earth. Read on.
Verse 29. And Elohim said, Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed.
Come on.
To you it should be for meat.
For what?
For meat.
All right. So now every seed, every herb, for you it was to be used for meat. Right? What does that mean? What does that word meat mean? Matter of fact, give me that in the blue letter, design. No, in the blue letter, give me that verse. Let's get that verse. Luke chapter 1, 25. 29? 29, let's go. Go there. Right, that's it. Right. For what now? Food. Eating. Okay. Eating.
You gotta be a vegetarian.
Right? Right? These herbs give you freedom. Eat it. For meat. For eating, devouring, consuming, devour, eat, food, meat. Right? You see all the definitions? Right? All right, so now we understand what it means for meat. It means to devour, to eat, to consume. All herbs, we're supposed to be consuming it. For fuel, it says even. Right? Give you energy. Right? Let's read.
And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so.
And it was so. So everything was eating of the earth. You know?
And Elohim saw that thing that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day.
Come on.
Thus the heaven and the earth were finished, and all the hosts of them. And on the seventh day, Elohim ended his work which he had made. And he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And Elohim blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he rested from all his work which Elohim created and made.
Right. So the seventh day he hallowed this day. This is why to this day we keep the seventh day. All right? Because Yahweh hallowed this day. It is a sign of it's perpetual. It will always be the seventh day that was hallowed. Okay? It cannot be the eighth day or the sixth day. It has to be the seventh day. Okay? Perpetually. He rested. So therefore that's why we rest. Hold that, give me Exodus. Exodus 31:12.
The book of Exodus, chapter 31, verse 12.
Uh-huh.
And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily, my Sabbath ye shall keep.
Right.
For it is a sign between me and you throughout your generation,
Come on.
that ye may know that I am the Most High, that doeth sanctify you.
Right.
Ye shall keep the Sabbath, therefore, for it is holy unto you.
Right.
Everyone that defiles it shall surely be put to death.
Read.
For whosoever doeth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people.
Come on.
6 days may work be done,
Right.
but in the seventh is the Sabbath of rest,
Right.
holy unto the Most High.
Right.
Whosoever doeth any work in the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death.
Right. So we got this understanding of the Sabbath day from the very creation. The seventh day is hallowed. He rested, so we rest. Right? Right? He rested, so we rest. Right? We don't move the Sabbath day. We don't change it. We don't augment it. We can't make it fit our own schedule. We can't. What do you say? You can't float it around. Right? It stays the seventh day. Perpetually. Okay. So as the Most High counted those days of creation and blessed the seventh, we continue seven. How do we say seven in Hebrew? Shabbat. Shabbat. That means Shabbat is one of the root words of Shabbat. Shabbat is the Sabbath. Okay. It cannot be on any other day but Shabbat, because it is the Shabbat. Anybody say that? It's very simple when you go into the Hebrew, all the words tie with each other, right? They all tie with each other. So the Shabbat day, the seventh day, is the Shabbat day. And it's kept perpetually. All right, let's go back to Genesis. Now we're going to enter the second chapter. Genesis 2, verse 1.
The book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 1. Thus the heaven and earth were finished, and all the hosts of them. And on the seventh day, Elohim ended his work, which he had made. And he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And Elohim blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which Elohim created and made. These are the generations of the heavens of the earth when they were created, in the day that the Most High Elohim made the earth and the heavens. And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew. Yahweh Elohim had not caused it to rain upon the earth.
So you understand that he created everything before it even grew. He knew every plant. He knew every herb, right? Before it grew. He had a plan for it before it even showed itself. So nothing just happened by way of science, as they say. It was all created. Okay? Every insect was created. To show you that our minds cannot fathom the mind of the Most High God. To be that level of intricate, that level of creation. Right? He said before it even grew, he already created, he already knew what he wanted. Okay. So when the Elohim, the Elohim, the powers were creating, he created all these things intricate. When these seeds was planted, they already knew the variation of flowers that would bring forth. The variation of trees and fruits. Right? Which to us, it would seem endless. Right? Because you could never know every fruit, every flower. Right? For our minds, it's endless. Right? To this day, he's always talking about he found some new fruit or some new. It ain't new, it's always been new. It's new to you. Read.
It had not caused it to rain upon the earth. Mm-hmm. And there was not a man to till the ground.
And there was not a man to do what?
Till the ground.
Now there was not a man to till the ground. What does that mean to till the ground?
Work.
Farm. Work, farm, plow. plant, right? Work hard, how to plant,
Take care of.
take care of, right? Right. So we understand that, and these are all words that go along with till, right? But it wasn't that there was no man, there was no man to till the ground, meaning that there was no man with that knowledge on how to deal with the Most High's creation correctly, right? There was man because we already created man, right? But there was no man to till the ground. I mean, there was no man that knew how to deal with the Most High's creation. All right, read.
Verse 6. For there went up a mist from the earth
Uh-huh.
and watered the whole face of the ground. And Yahweh Elohim formed Adam of the dust of the ground
Right.
and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life.
Well,
And Adam became a living soul. And Yahweh Elohim planted a garden eastward in Eden. And there he put the man whom he had formed.
right.
And out of the ground made Yahweh Elohim to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight
Uh-huh.
and good for food. The tree of life also in the midst of the garden,
Right.
and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden.
Come on.
And from thence it was parted and became into four heads. The name of the first was
Also, when he read man in that book, it tells you it was Adam.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, just expound a little bit on that. Because I know they're reading man, but he's reading Adam.
Right.
You know? We know that in Hebrew that Adam.
Right. Adam
Right. Adam.
was the name given to man.
Right.
All right. To show you that Adam is a representation of man, man's creation, not just it was a singularized Adam, but it also Adam was also considered mankind was Adam. So Adam has two different meanings in scripture. Adam, right? But in the Hebrew you would say Adam, because you don't say a. That a sound is not in Hebrew, it's a. So it's Adam. Okay? Adam. Right? So Adam is represented as mankind, is also represented as that Adam that was set aside. Okay? It was an Adam that was created for the Most High's purpose. Then there was Adam, mankind. Okay? So like you said, but you know, just for edification, we're all reading the same thing. We're going to read out of King James, and it says man, and then it says Adam. But both is Adam. Okay? Both is Adam. Do you understand that? Okay, so we can take it to the blue letter and you be clarity on it. All right. And both is Adam. Man is Adam, Adam is Adam. Okay? They both are created. All right, good.
the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 8. And the Most High planted a garden eastward in Eden.
Right.
And there he put a man whom he had formed. And out of the ground made the Most High to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight,
Right.
and good for food. And the tree of life also in the midst of the garden,
Right.
and the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
Right.
And a river went out of Eden to water the garden. And from thence it was parted, and became into four heads.
So now these different trees, the various trees. They say there was trees that was for what? For sight. Right? There was trees that were for food. Then there was trees that were for knowledge. All right? So now these different trees, right? He's letting us know that these are sources. A tree is a source where you get something from. All right? It's metaphorical because you don't get knowledge from picking something off a physical tree. You understand that? A tree is a representation of a source, where it's coming from. So these other trees of good and evil and of knowledge were trees were sources of knowledge. Okay? Not physical trees that you see outside. All right? The trees you see outside, some are for sight. They look good. Palm trees that don't give coconut. And you got coconut trees that give coconut. Right? Those are for food. Right? Read.
The name of the first is Pison, that is which compasseth the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold. And the gold of that land is good. There is bdellium and the onyx stone. And the name of the second river is Gihon, the same that is compasseth the whole land of Ethiopia.
The whole land of what?
Of Ethiopia.
Now, Ethiopia is still called Ethiopia today. So you can make a determination on where this Edom is. Edom is. This garden, I'm sorry, where garden is. Edom is the where this garden is. Okay. By looking at a map and seeing where Ethiopia is and going north, because the rivers ran down through these lands. Right? It's north of Ethiopia. Right? Not complicated. Man gets confused and want to, oh, I don't know where this was at. Right? Nobody knows where it's at. It's telling you where it's at. The purpose of it telling you about the rivers is to let you know where you're at. We're in the northern hemisphere. These rivers ran southward. Okay? They ran southward. They ran from the bodies of water into the land to another body of water. Okay, so you can determine this by looking at a map. All right. I'm not going to go through the whole map because we'll never get through these verses if we do that. But like I said, if there's questions that come up as we go through this portion, right, ask those questions and we can address them in individual classes. Okay, and we can go into where Edom is or where it wasn't. Okay. And we're going in depth and show that. But if we go in depth to that, we're never going to get to the 6th chapter in verse. Come on. All right, read.
And the name of the third river, that's Hiddekel, that is which going toward the east of Assyria.
Right.
And the fourth river is Euphrates. And the Most High took the land.
Right, Euphrates, and Euphrates is still called the Euphrates to this day. So you can map out where it is. The Euphrates still has its name. Right, you know?
And put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it.
Right.
And to keep it.
So he put him in the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. You know what? To keep control of it, to show, to do what needs to be done in this particular area. Right? You know?
And the Most High commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat.
Right?
But of the tree of knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it.
Right?
For in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die.
Right? So that's what? First commandment. Give it unto Adam, right? You can receive of all these trees, all these sources, but don't mess with that good and evil. Right? That's the first commandment. Read.
And the Most High said, it is not good that man should be alone.
Right?
I will make him a helpmeet for him.
Right. So now we see Adam, when this man is Adam, being alone. He says he needs what? He needs a companion. He needs to create a counterpart for him. Right? But it's not good for man to dwell this way. Okay? Read.
And out of the ground the Most High formed every beast of the field, and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. And Adam gave name to all cattle, and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found a helpmeet for him.
So this means every animal had a name. Every bird had a name. Every cattle had a name. Fish had names. We had names for all these animals, right, from the beginning. Okay? It wasn't, we didn't have, how can we say, we were not confused on the name of the beast. For the names was given unto Adam to give unto the beast as he was brought to him. Okay? So he was naming them. Why was he naming? Who was he naming them to? Like, who was getting these names? Was he just naming them to himself because he was sitting there by himself? Would that make sense? Right? Why would he give all these beasts names, but he's there by himself? Who's he naming them to? Who's he telling the names to? He told the names to the Most High? Most High created them. Right?
There was other people on the earth at the same time.
You have to understand that there's other people. He's naming the animals. He's giving the names. The name has to be passed on to somebody. Or what would be the purpose of giving it a name? Right? How can I name you if you're by yourself? Right? So we have to really think, right, that Adam interacted with those that were, not in his position with the Most High, but he interacted with all the people that was created from the fifth day. Okay? Now, the question in the back, the ice. Right. Yeah, dominion. That's right. Right.
I don't know if you're going to go to the verse that's in Ezekiel chapter 34, 31, verse 8.
Right. We talking about precept?
Talk about some of the trees was a metaphor.
Right. We get it. We get it. When we get a precept, Ezekiel chapter 34, verse 8. 31, verse 8. Ezekiel 31, verse 8. This is explaining why the trees are not actual trees. Right?
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 31, verse 8. The cedars in the garden of the Most High could not hide him.
The what?
They could not hide him.
Right. The cedars in the garden of the Most High could not hide him. Right? We know.
The fir trees were not like his boughs,
Come on.
and the chestnut trees were not like his branches.
Uh-huh.
Nor any tree in the garden of the Most High was like unto him in his beauty.
Right. So now all the trees were not like him. What does that say? It's comparing. It's comparison thing
That means the trees were people.
there. Right. The trees were people, and they were not like him. Right. I know. Right. Everybody gathering that though? He said all the cedar was not like him. The fir tree was not like him. Right? We know.
I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches.
Right?
So that all the trees of Eden that were in the garden of the Most High envied him.
The what?
Envied him.
Now you don't see actual oak trees envying. Right? So that's letting you know that these trees are people. Did everybody see that? They tried to hide, they couldn't hide them. They envied. They were not as glorious as he was. They didn't have as much knowledge and understanding as he did. That's why he said they didn't have the branches that he had. Okay, read. That's it on that. All right, let's go back. So just going to scripture to show that the trees are referring to people in there. Okay. Let's read on.
The book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 21. And the Most High caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which the Most High had taken from man made he a woman, and brought her unto the man, and said, This is now bone of my bones, and flesh of my flesh. She should be called woman, because she was taken out of man.
Right. So again, metaphorical, right? Did he bust his aside and take a rib out and then create a woman out of the rib out of his side? Right? We know this is metaphorical. Okay. So we always never to detach our common sense when we read these things, right? So we know that what is purpose to what type of woman are we? Did the Most High tell us we're supposed to get? A woman from where? Our own kindred, correct? All right, our own bloodline, our own lineage, okay?
So what would the deep sleep mean?
The deep sleep means that he's putting he's unaware, putting a trance or not being made aware of what's happening. Right? When you're asleep, mean you're unaware, right? You're in darkness. You don't know. It's not brought to your knowledge of what was taking place. Okay, so he's in a deep sleep. Like he told most, I'd say he put Israel in a deep sleep. When he put us in a deep sleep, what happened to us? Well, we were unaware of what? Our nationality, our God, right? Our heritage. He put us in a deep sleep. So he did the same thing to Adam, but it was for a short period of time. He put us in a deep sleep for a long time. Okay. All right. Read.
Verse 24. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and shall cleave unto his wife,
right?
and they shall be one flesh.
Right. So we had fathers and mothers, right? There was families on the earth, right? If there was no families, then what would he be talking? Father and mother, what are you talking about? Right? Because the way this is delivered to us in Christianity would be, it's just Adam and Eve there. So then what would be the father and mother comment about? Right? He made a proclamation. He said, from this woman, man shall leave their father and mother and cleave to their wife. So this is something that was understood. There was fathers, mothers on the earth, there were people, right? So we had to change our vision, our thoughts of what was happening on the earth at this particular time. Okay? Man was in abundance. Okay? Adam had the knowledge, the wisdom on how to move, how to understand it. Right? He had lineage. He had people that he considered friends and non-friends, and all that was happening on the earth. Right? So we gotta get our minds reprogram the whole thought. Because he's gonna keep pushing that thought to us. Two men, a man and a woman frolicking naked in the forest. Right? That is not what was taking place. Okay? Read.
And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed.
So what does that mean they were both naked? Hold on, listen. No. Right. They did not have the commandment? No. No knowledge? No. They were pure. What did you say? Sinless. Right? Sinless. They had nothing to cover up. Right? They were sinless. They didn't do anything against the will of the Most High. Not yet, at least. Right? Yeah. Let's get a precept.
2 Ezra 16:65.
Give me a pocket for 2 Ezra 16, verse 65.
The book of 2 Ezra, chapter 16, verse 65. And when your sins are brought forth, ye shall be ashamed before men.
Right?
And your own sins shall be your accusers in that day.
Right?
What will ye do? Or how will ye hide your sins before the Most High and his angels?
All right, read it again.
The book of 2 Ezra, chapter 16, verse 65. And when your sins are brought forth, ye shall be ashamed before men.
Right, so they had no shame. They were without shame. All right, so that nakedness is a condition of being without shame. They had nothing to be ashamed of. Okay, your nakedness is your shame, so you cover yourself up, right? Because you don't want to show your body. Somebody that walks around with their body exposed. What do people say? They have what?
No shame.
No shame. They don't cover themselves. What you got, Job? Okay. Job 31:30.
The book of Job, chapter 31, verse 31.
Uh-huh.
If the man of my tabernacle said not, oh, that we had of his flesh, he cannot be satisfied. The stranger did not lodge in the street, but I opened my doors to the traveler. If I covered my transgressions as Adam,
Right?
by hiding my iniquity in my bosom,
Uh-huh.
did I fear a great multitude, or did the contempt of families terrify me?
Right.
That I kept silence and went not out of the door?
Right. So if he covered his sins like Adam. So we didn't get to that point yet where Adam started. That's a little bit ahead, right? But that's going to explain the clothing. That's the verse to explain the clothing when you put clothes on, right? They were covering their sins, right? So, but they were, I understand why you went there. Just explaining the nakedness is not physical, just physical running around naked, all right? That they had clothing, all right? Their nakedness was meaning that they were out sin, all right? Read.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Most High had made.
Right, so now the serpent now is there. Okay? All the beasts, all the Most High created, the serpent is there. And he was more subtle. What does it mean to be subtle? Cunning, sneaky, right? Right? Deceitful. Out of all everybody else that he created, he was more deceitful. That means it wasn't that there was no deceitful people, but he was more deceitful. He was more cunning. He was on top of his game, right? Right? Other people were deceitful too, but he was the worst, right? Read.
And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath the Most High said, Ye should not eat of every tree of the garden?
Right, so he asked the question exactly because he knew the answer. Have the Most High said you cannot eat of every tree? He obviously know what the Most High said, right? You know.
And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, the Most High has said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die.
Right.
And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die. For the Most High doeth know that in the day that ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened.
There's a gift in committing this sin. If you go to that tree and you eat of it, you're going to be so powerful, right? You're going to be like the God, like the angels, right? So that you're learning a lot here. What you see in that verse is that they knew that there was different levels of power. There were those that dwelt amongst them that were more powerful than they were. Okay? And that they were aware of all these things. Because you couldn't entice somebody with something that they know not of. Everybody understand that? Let's get 1 John. Sorry. Well, first start with 3 and 4.
The book of 1 John, chapter 3, verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law.
Right?
For sin is the transgression of the law.
You know.
And ye know that he was manifested to take away our sins.
Right?
And in him is no sin.
Who's that? Yahweh Christ. Right? We call the second Adam. Right? Who had no sin. You know.
Whosoever abideth in him sinneth not.
Right?
Whosoever sinneth hath not seen him,
Right.
neither known him.
Right. So if you are sinning without conscience, you don't know Yahweh. You don't know Christ. Whoever abideth in Christ stays away from sin. You understand that? Read.
Verse 7. Little children, let no man deceive you. He that doeth righteousness is righteous, even as he is righteous.
Right. So unless for you to call yourself righteous, you got to be doing righteousness. Everybody understand that? What is righteousness? You got a verse? That's right. You got to have a verse. Right? Deuteronomy 6 and 25 teaches us that righteousness is the law. All right? Deuteronomy 6 and 25. All right? You don't have to get it, and we should write it down. All right? Read on.
Verse 8. He that committed sin is of the devil.
Is of the what?
Is of the devil.
He that committed sin is of the devil. When you're doing sin, you're doing the work of the devil. It's not complicated. Okay? Read on.
For the devil sinned from the beginning.
From when?
From the beginning.
For the devil sinned from the beginning. When is the beginning? The serpent. We're just reading about the beginning. We're reading Genesis, right? Genesis about a sheaf or is the beginning. Okay, the beginning. So the devil sinned from the beginning. The serpent is a representation of the devil, Satan. Right? Satan was on this thing that was coming to Eve. Right?
I thought Satan was a bad angel, fell down from heaven, got kicked out.
Cut it out. All right, that's philosophy of man. All right, it was never beautiful, angel, the most beautiful, and fell out of heaven. No. He sinned from the beginning, from his creation. He was always created to be. He's the serpent in the garden. Okay? Read.
For this purpose, the Son of the Most High was manifested,
Right?
that he might destroy the works of the devil.
For his purpose, the Son of Man was manifested to destroy the works of the devil. Meaning that Yahushua, Christ, of course Christ, was manifested, he was brought to life, to flesh, that he might destroy the works of Shaitan. Okay? So Satan doesn't have reign over you anymore. Why? Because you can't repent through the blood of Yahushua. Okay? Let's go back now to Eve. Let's see what Eve is going to do here. Right? Serpent talking to Eve, Eve talking back to the serpent. Who's that serpent? It's the devil. Right? It's Satan. That's on. The spirit of Satan is in this man is before Eve. Okay? So,
The book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 6. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise.
to make one what?
Wise.
You know what? There was information there that was like, man, right? The serpent got a point here, right? She went and checked out the tree. Let me see what this serpent talking about. She went and checked it out. She said, man, this tree, it's got some good knowledge here, right? She saw that it would make her wise. Read on.
She took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And the eyes of them were both opened, and they knew that they were naked.
And they knew that what? What did they realize? They realized that they were without sin before this moment. Okay? Right? That's what the scripture was saying. Right? They realized they were without sin before this moment. So then what they do? They said, oh shoot, we was naked. I mean, that we were clean. We were innocent. We're not innocent no more. All right? They just dawned on them that, yo, we were naked. We had no sin. Now look what we did. Right? The realization that they broke God's word just came upon them. So now that they became naked, they realized that they was naked. Does everybody understand that? The nakedness wasn't what happened when they sinned. They just realized that they were naked because they realized they had done something wrong. Okay?
Wisdom of Solomon 14:27.
This was Psalm 14. Right? Let's see what you got there, boo. From the verses. What that say? Is it a butter knife? Is it a sharp knife? What do you think? It's a spoon. Ah. Read it. Let's hear it. Just so you understand what we mean by a knife, mean that when you put a precept, it's got to be on point. You get a sharp knife. If it's dull, you get a butter knife. Right? If it's no way dealing with what we dealing with, it's a spoon. All right? So read that.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 27. For the worshiping of idols, not to be named, is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil.
Right. You weren't really worshiping idols. I get where you're going with it. I wouldn't call it. I would say it's a funny night. I wouldn't call it. I wouldn't give it a school.
School, that means you're nuts. You ain't doing nothing.
Oh,
What you talking about?
okay.
Way off.
What does that verse have to deal with?
Naked.
The nakedness?
Yeah.
What you got?
Exodus 32:25.
That's what the
All right.
people.
Huh?
That's when the people realized they messed up with Moses.
Because they weren't taking the clothes off.
Right. All right. Let's prove the nakedness a little bit more. What we doing? Now you got 8 precepts. Yeah. We're going to Exodus 32 and 25. Exodus 32 and 25. It's a short one? All right. Let's see what the Natazak got for you.
The book of Exodus, chapter 32, verse 25. And when Moses saw that the people were naked, but Aaron had made them naked unto their shame
Oh, that's beautiful, right?
among their enemies.
All right, that's a good one. All right. Good one. Good one. That's a good one. Yeah. That's a good one. So then you got the clothing represents, or the naked represents their sin. Okay. How did Aaron make them naked? Because he made that calf, right? And made them realize that they are in sin, right? That they should be ashamed of themselves. Just like if you were naked, you should be ashamed of yourself. When you sin, you should be ashamed of yourself. Same shame, okay? Same shame, all right? So that's why it correlates. Go ahead, question. So, someone repeat that question?
She
So,
wants to know what the act was, if that was a tree, if that wasn't an actual tree.
what the act was them taking this knowledge, right, and performing whatever that knowledge asks them to perform. So like we'll give an example. If we go into Buddhism, right, and we start to burn incense and mess with those beads and stuff like that, we're now eating of that philosophy. We're following what that philosophy wants us to do, and says, okay, you're going to get this wisdom by doing this. Okay, you're going to get this knowledge. You're going to address the spirit. So this is why it was sin, not to go into the knowledge that they had and perform the things that is required to perform. It doesn't tell us exactly what they did, except for that they ate of it, meaning that they received it. So they learned of it. They ingested it. They practiced whatever knowledge that was this tree was given. Okay? So they physically got involved with it. Okay? So when we physically get involved with anything that's not Yahweh, we're actually giving ourselves over to that spirit. Okay? We're giving ourselves over to it. That's why we can't no longer keep the Christmases and the Thanksgivings and all that, because we know that's not of Yahweh. For us to be involved in it, then we are what? We're giving ourselves over to that spirit. Everybody understand that? We're eating of it. We're receiving of it. We're dealing with it. Okay? So, hope that answers your question. Right. Go back to Genesis.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 7. And the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked.
Right.
And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons.
Right.
And they heard the voice of the Most High Power walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Most High Power, right, amongst the trees of the garden.
Right, amongst the trees. Right, it wasn't hiding behind the forest somewhere. Right, they were hiding amongst the men. They were hiding. Right, you know.
And the Most High Power called unto Adam and said unto them, Where art thou? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself. Mm-hmm. And he said, Who told thee?
Who what?
Who told thee?
Look at that question. Right? Who told you? right? So that means what? There have been people there that could have told him something, right? Who told you you were naked? The word who means suggests that what? There's people here. Okay? Read.
Who told thee that thou wast naked?
Mhm.
Hast thou eaten of the tree wherefore I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat?
Mhm.
And the man said, the woman whom thou gavest to be with me.
Right, so he sold out. He sold the woman out right away. Right. Threw her right under the bus, right? That woman. He called me right out and said, that woman you gave me. I would have never done it if it wasn't for that woman. Right?
Also, Esau made a doctrine out of this. Adam be naked. A lot of them run around nudist.
Yeah, the nudist colony, all that. That's why they justify their nudist colonies and stuff. They say man is supposed to run around naked. Huh? Yeah, you gave me that woman. The woman that thou was giving me. Now we know that excuse didn't work for Adam and it won't work for you either. Right? You cannot blame your woman or your wife for your sins. Okay? You faulted because you faulted. Not because your woman made you false. All right? The woman cannot make you do anything that you don't want to do. Right? Now, can they entice you? Absolutely. Right? Just like she enticed Adam. You can't be enticed, but you have to have willpower. You have to be strong. Okay? Or you fall. Either be overcome or be overcome. Right? Read.
Verse 12. And the man said, the woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat.
Right?
And the Most High Power said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me,
Right?
and I did eat.
Right? So she blamed the serpent. Everybody's snitching, right? Read.
And the Most High Power said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field.
Come on.
Upon thy belly shalt thou go,
Right?
and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life.
Come on.
And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed.
So what does that mean? Does woman have seed? Does woman have seed? So what does that mean? I put enmity between thy seed and her seed.
The nature of man and woman, probably.
Shamaya? Right, women to come, the future generations of women, is going to have enmity between them and who? And what? The serpent, right? Which is Satan, right? We understand the serpent is Satan, huh? Right? You think the serpent is like a snake, like a let's prove that the serpent, maybe that spirit is out there. That the serpent is an actual snake that was in the grass or something. All right. Get Revelations. Get Revelations 20 and 2. Let's prove who that serpent is.
The book of Revelation, chapter 20, verse 2. And he laid hold on the dragon,
Right?
that old serpent.
Now what serpent?
That old serpent.
That old serpent from Genesis, right? Read on.
Which is the devil.
Which is the devil. Read on.
And Satan.
And he's Satan. So we tell that the serpent is the devil and Satan. We're not making it up. All right? The serpent is the devil and Satan. Everybody understand that? Read on.
And bound him 1,000 years.
And bound him 1,000 years. So let's go into a prophecy of something else. But just understand that this old serpent, the devil, and Satan are all the same. Okay? It's not talking about an actual physical snake. It's metaphorical. Okay? It's using a snake as a reference. You're going to be like a snake in the grass. You're going to be eating dust. You're going to be down on the ground. That's why we tell people that these nations, they're going to go into captivity and nobody's going to help them. But you don't understand that. All right? Some of people, they don't understand that. We know what about it. Right? So, so just proving the circle. Let's go back now.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 15.
3 or 4. We started a little late, so we're going to go a little bit beyond 3, okay?
Come on.
We'll take it to 3:30. They want to start looking at me crazy. We started a little late. So let's try to finish the third chapter.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
And I will put an enmity between thee and the woman.
So enmity is beef, problems, issues. All right? That's what enmity is. You got a problem, that's enmity. You got a constant issue, that's enmity. You and a person that can't get along, y'all got enmity in between them. All right? So Satan is always harassing our women. You understand that, man? Satan is always harassing our women. We have to understand that. That's why you got to understand your woman. And you have to be, that's why the Most High put the man over the woman to cover and protect her, because Satan is constantly harassing her. It comes through, today they call it what? Emotions. They have different words they call it. It's spirits. It's spirits. Okay? And we have to be mindful of those spirits. You can't, but they don't go away because you act like they don't exist. Whether you want to agree with them, understand them, accept them or not, they still going to be there. And you still have to deal with them. But you being a man, a spiritual man of the Most High God, you will know how to deal with those spirits. You know how to deal with those emotions. Right? That Satan is plays our women with these things. All right, read.
And between thy seed and her seed.
Right? It means for generation of women to come, they're going to have this issue. Read.
It shall bruise thy head,
right?
And thou shalt bruise his heel.
Come on.
Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband.
Right, and desire shall be towards your husband, but in sorrow you shall bring forth children. You know what? You're going to have issues and problems, right, in your households and in your, something that's supposed to be so easy as childbearing is going to be difficult. All right? Read on.
And he shall rule over thee.
And he what?
And he shall rule over thee.
Who shall rule over who?
And thy desire.
Hold on. And he shall rule over thee. Who shall rule over who? Right. The man is to have rulership over the wife. Everybody understand that?
Come on.
Right. This is why the Father said this. Give me Colossians 3 and 18. Colossians 3 and 18. You can go many places for you to understand it, but it's really good that. Colossians 3 and 18.
The book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 18. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husband.
Why is he telling the wives to submit themselves to their own husbands? Why is that? Submit themselves to what? To what? To his what?
Authority.
To his authority. How did he get authority?
How did the husband get authority?
Yeah.
Through the marriage and laying with them.
We just read about it in Genesis. He said that what? He shall rule over you. Your husband shall rule over you. Right? Therefore, if the Most High set it up this way, that my husband is to rule over me, then I have to submit myself unto him. Right? So there's no conflict. So a lot of times we hear the word rule, we think of conflict. Like you're being oppressed. It's only oppression if you are fighting the rulership. But if you say, yes, you are rule over me, then what's the issue? Right? There's no conflict. Now then you can now grow and move forward as what? Everybody in their order. right? Everybody in the order. You can move forward in the order. But when you fight against the order, that's when you fight against not man, not your husband, but the Most High God. Because the Most High God is what set it up this way. Everybody understand that? He could have easily said, women have rulership over the man. Then if the man were to be fighting that rulership, then we would be out of order. But he said no. The man to have rulership over the woman. Right? Therefore, women, submit yourself unto your husband. Right? Submit yourself unto the rulership. Do not fight the rulership. Right? And now, as men having rulership, what are we supposed to do? Read on.
Husbands, love your wives.
Love your wife. Not because you have rulership mean that you abuse your wife. Everybody understand that? The rulership is not for the abusing of the woman, it's for the love of the woman. So you can make sure that she's what? Covered. That she's okay, that she has the things that she needs. That she is not what? Open for the serpent to run her through a whole heap of problems. Right? The serpent got to come through you because you have order over your wife. If your wife does whatever she feel like doing and don't pay you no mind, then how are you going to be that middle person in between her and Satan? It takes you out of the equation. Everybody understand that? It's warfare. All right? This is warfare. When you wake up, every day you wake up in battle, at war. You understand that? I don't know if they understand. Maybe they think I'm making this up. Maybe they think Shalom, you're going crazy. He's militant. He's too militant, right? Let's prove what I'm saying, right? Every time you wake up, you're at battle. You're at war. Get 2nd Ezra. 7th chapter. No, 56. 2nd Ezra, 7th chapter, start with verse 56.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 7, verse 56. For while we lived and committed iniquity,
right,
we considered not that we should begin to suffer for it after death.
Right, so we don't consider that when we live in and we sit it, that we're going to pay for it after death. Right? We're going to have to answer for it by the Most High God. Right? We don't.
Then answered he me and said, this is the condition of the battle.
This is the what?
The condition of the battle.
This is the condition of the battle. Read on.
Which man that is born upon the earth shall fight.
Hold on. Aren't we all been born upon the earth? Anybody born in space? Right? So we all born upon the earth. That means we all have to fight this battle. No one is above the battle. If you're not fighting, you're losing. Okay? Because you're not putting up any resistance. The condition of the battle. Everybody has to fight. You know?
That if he be overcome,
If you be overcome, you know,
he shall suffer as thou hast said.
you're going to suffer. You know?
But if he get victory,
If you win, read,
he shall receive the thing that I say.
you will receive the blessing of the Most High God. It's very simple. Okay? This is warfare, battle. So that's why we have to take all the instruction given to us by the Most High God. We can't pick and choose. We can't cherry pick what instruction we're going to follow that we feel more comfortable with. Oh, I like that, Lord. I don't like that one. Right? That's the condition of the battle. That you know that I got to take on all of this so I can win. You got to play this game to win, huh? Victory is given. Victory is for you. Right? Victory is for you. But you got to do it. What verse is it? This is 1 says we're going to push you beyond time. Huh? No. Go back to Genesis. Let us finish the 3rd chapter.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 17. And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it, cursed is the ground for thy sake.
Right?
In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Thorns also of thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field.
Right?
In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread,
Right?
till thou return unto the ground.
Man. Right? So for your life, by the sweat of your brow shall you eat bread. You know what? You have to work now. Ain't nothing going to be given to you anymore. You're going to have to labor to get what you need now. You're going to toil and labor. By the sweat of your brow shall you eat. All right? You're going to go through some things because you want to listen to your, or you don't listen to me. All right? Read on. All
For
right?
out of it was thou taken.
We talk about in verse 8 to 12, 12 to 8. All right? Read on.
For dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return.
Right?
And Adam called his wife Eve, because she was the mother of all living.
Come on.
Unto Adam also and to his wife did the Most High make coats of skins, and clothed them.
Come on.
And the Most High said, Behold, the man is become as one of us,
Right?
to know good and evil.
Right?
Now let he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever.
Right. So look, he said, man, we got to stop this now. Now he knows good and evil. He knows about sin. He knows about wickedness. The only thing he don't know is that he knows how to enter the tree of life. Right? He had his name written in the book of life. So he said, before that, let's get him out of here before he lives what? Immortal. When the man was made immortal? Come. I know. Wisdom of Solomon? Yeah. Go ahead, get that. Wisdom of Solomon. What is he saying here? Man was made to not die? Let's see. Wisdom of Solomon.
Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2 verse 23, page 59 in the Parker book.
Uh-huh.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2 verse 23. For the Most High created man to be immortal.
To be what?
Immortal.
What does that mean to be immortal? Live forever. Live forever. Read on.
And made him to be an image of his own eternity.
Right, because does the Most High die? No. Did Yahweh Shai die? No. Did the angels die? No. Read on.
Nevertheless, through envy of the devil,
What?
through envy of the devil,
Through envy of the devil, through Satan's works. Read on.
came death into the world.
Right, came death into the world. You finished, Adam. Right? You going back to the ground. You going back to the dust. And thus will man be. They will continue to go back to the dust. See, at the time of Adam, and you're going to read about it as we go through all these chapters, we used to live a very long time. Right? We were living 800, 700, 600, 900 years. Right? This lifespan that we got now, this what we get now. We're lucky to see 70. We're lucky to get 3 score and 10. We get beyond that and consider yourself blessed. Right? But the years of man, what is that? What's the truth say? 125? The years of man is 125. You're not going to pass 125. That's for sure. Okay? So the most you're going to get is that, right? Eternal life, brother. That's what it means. The what? What do you mean we have sin for it? Oh, okay. Right. Then he have to deal with you, your sin from behind for eternity. But now you can put you behind the death. Right? Because you brought death into you. So now death is how you're going to survive. Death is how you're going to survive. Death is how you're going to live. Right? You're going to live from death to death. Okay? That's what you're going to know. The end of your life will be death. However, how and when it comes, that belongs to the Most High. But the end of your life will be death. Because since Adam has sinned. Everybody understand that? All right. Let's go back.
Therefore the Most High sent him forth from the Garden of Eden to till the ground from whence he was taken.
Uh-huh.
So he drove out the man and placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubim, and a flaming sword which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life.
All right. So he drove out the man from the tree, from the garden, put the angels in so he couldn't come back in. All right. Was that garden where all this knowledge was? Okay, all this knowledge was. So he was outside of that ability to get that information. Right? But he's still in the earth. He's still in Eden. Right? He's still amongst the people. He just can't go back up in that garden where all that knowledge was. That was locked off. Okay, by the angel. All right, so we have the 4th chapter. We have the 5th chapter. We stop at 6, I believe. 6 and 8, I believe. We stop at Noah. So that's 6 and 8. So this time we're going to take a break. Take about half an hour break, go to bed, stretch your legs, get something to eat, relax, mingle, and we will continue at about 3:45,